Perfect Turd Podcast, episode 76, Lamar. You found this movie for Kony Montana.
Yes, very interesting. And you know, Joe, we watch a lot of movies, and sometimes we watch them where it's like a very basic concept, and they just, don't have maybe enough of the budget or whatever. This movie, they made a comedy parody of Scarface.
Yep.
And we would like to first make a public service announcement. You will probably be offended by a lot of things in this movie because, well, let's do that first. What will people be offended by in this movie?
Well, the use of the F word in regards to homosexual people, trans people.
Yes.
Women in general, I would say.
Women in general, yeah.
The use of the N word.
Yes. There's a lot of racial. Handicap.
Handicap.
Handicap humor. I would say African. Against Africans, there's some stuff like that. I would even say against white people, there's some stuff against white people.
They were at least equal opportunity offenders for everybody. I'll give them that much credit.
Yes,
but go ahead. Let's hear about the plot. I like the plot.
The plot is Kony Montana is a former child soldier if you don't know, Joseph Kony, who was known a little while ago, who had a lot of child soldiers in Africa. I don't know which specific country in Africa.
Yeah.
And he gets tangled into the world of illegal booty shots.
That's my favorite
part. He becomes the premier distributor of booty shots in America, and it follows the plot points of Scarface, almost to like where you could just swap them out.
Yeah, it's that rise and fall.
The rise and fall of a man who was tempted by the booty shot industry, the illegal booty shot industry.
Yep.
So that's the plot.
This movie took me by surprise, I must say. I sat down. It's only an hour long or so.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know what this is going to be. I guess it's going to be a parody. I just couldn't take my eyes away from this. It was so, like you said, we said all the crazy stuff and all the offensive stuff, but it was done in such a way where I was just laughing constantly at this.
It has this thing where it's like, I want to say it just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It has I don't give a fuck, like from the production to what's being talked about.
Yeah.
We should mention that the main star is Michael Blackson. He's a comedian. He was, of course, from Africa. He got his, rise like in Philly. He really gives a lot of love to Philly as his start in comedy. So he is basically denigrating everybody in this movie. Then the rest of the cast, you might remember Delicious from Flavor of Love. If you don't remember her, you remember, of course, her backside.
Mm-hmm.
We have someone named Jack Thriller. He used to work for 50 Cent. Mm-hmm. He's funny in it. He has one of his eyes missing. That's like one of his tropes. We also have early sightings of Leslie Jones.
She's good in this movie.
She's very funny in this movie. She plays Kony Montana's sister. Who is supposed to be, I guess, the parallel to Scarface's sister. But instead of everybody kind of wanting her, she's the woman that nobody wants. And that's a joke.
And that's the thing about when you mention all the people that are in it, it comes across like everyone is just kind of riffing and having just a fun time with this.
Yes.
It really does. You really see that, like... Yeah, everything is kind of outrageous about it, and the offensive jokes and stuff like that. But it's done in such a way where it doesn't come across like super malicious because it's so goofy the way they did it.
Well, let's go through some of the parts of the movie. So comparing it to Scarface, we have the initial scene where they go to get in Scarface, they go to get the yayo, the first meeting. In this movie, when they go to get the booty shots, it is two gay gentlemen and his friend. Well, in Scarface, he gets killed by a chainsaw. Yeah. In this movie, unfortunately, like we said, we gave you the PSA. His best friend gets sodomized in the ear and gets killed.
Yeah.
You don't see it, but it is implied.
Right.
So that scene. You have the scene where Kony Montana gets attacked in the club or whatever. Well, of course, Tony Montana, he gets attacked by the club. He runs away, he shoots the two guys. In this movie, Kony Montana uses a man in a wheelchair as a human shield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just really just riffing on Scarface. And I that's the part I like because, of course, I've seen, who hasn't seen Scarface? But those parts where they make fun of those parts and twist it in a comical way, those are funny parts to it. Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of parodies of like the scary movies and stuff like that, you know. Is this your favorite parody?
I would say it's up there.
Yeah.
Because like I think Scary Movie will always be a place in my heart. But this one, it's a great parody because it's like meta. It's like it makes fun of Scarface, but then it also made fun of like the whole booty shot era thing. Yeah, and so it adds that element to it. And it's just like insane. And of course they shoot it on a little budget. You know, there was some audio problems and stuff.
Yeah.
But like you said, this kept me glued in. Like I wanted to see what happens next.
The booty shot thing from the beginning got me because it just starts and they're like, "We got to get the booty shots," and then I was like, "Wait, what's going on?" and then when it unfolded, like that's what they're dealing, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I get it." This movie's outrageous.
It is really outrageous. A lot of people don't know about it too, which is because Michael Blackson, I think he paid for everything. He distributed it at his comedy shows. But yeah, we always say this movie could not get made today, or it would have gotten like backlash and everything like crazy. So
yeah. Well, what do you rate it then?
I would rate it a 4.
Okay.
Because there's some technical problems.
Yeah.
But if they had a little bit more of the budget and everything like that, I would give it a 5 just because of the premise of it and the jokes and everything like that. Like I give it a 4. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm close. I'm gonna say 3.5. Yeah, like I said, I just could not take my eyes off this movie, and I was just constantly like, wow, I can't believe they're going there, and it's like, oh, I can't believe he did that, and he there was that one point in the movie where I was like, okay, this movie's nuts, but then it got super like. I went like that because he was fooling around with this white woman.
Yes.
And then like he finds out that she used to be a man, and he just shoots her.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that was my response too. I was like,
okay. I was like, this movie is batshit crazy, and because it's so crazy, I say, yeah. You almost have to just see it to see how crazy it actually is.
And it was done in a comedic way.
Yeah.
That's the important, because that was the scene, of course, in Scarface. Omar is found out to be a snitch.
Yeah.
So they flip it in a funny way.
Right.
So I think it's one of those things where it's like this movie had to be made so many years ago, because I feel like if you don't put it in context, now it's going to be like, what the fuck? Like,
all right. Well, I'm glad you found it because it was an experience.
It was definitely an experience. I don't know like what the distribution is. Well, we saw it on YouTube.
We found
it
on
through
YouTube.
the director's YouTube, so you can see it there.
Okay.
But yeah, and I will say this: Michael Blackson is known for dissing people. So Michael Blackson, go ahead and diss us if you want to. We need the viewership.
There you go.
Sir.
Well, that wraps this one up then. Kony Montana. Peace.
Deuces.
Jeez.